I admire and respect the passion and commitment of you and of others and lots of people who live in the Dutchtown neighborhood. And certainly I appreciate the beauty of the Ittner buildings, and I know that they are an important part of this community's legacy, and they are also the property of this school district. But I guess I want to come back to the fact that in addition to the staffing issue that you asked about earlier, Veronica, one of the areas in which this district is really burdened financially is infrastructure. And we have more infrastructure than is necessary for the number of students we're serving. We've got obsolete infrastructure, we've got expensive infrastructure. And I think if you look at infrastructure costs per student, it's extraordinarily high. And I come back to Ron's point, which is I don't think we ought to be looking at one school. If you look at average numbers of school buildings for the numbers of students served, we really need to have 70-some schools, not 90-some. And I would suggest that maybe as a board and as a community, we ought to look at that issue in the next 3 months, and that Cleveland ought to be a part of that conversation, but so should all of the other schools that are within the district and which we need to look at for purposes of demographics or scholastic coverage or magnet requirements or whatever it might be. But I think we shouldn't be discussing one school in a vacuum, and I think we ought to take 3 months, and that we ought to really delve into this and come back with some understanding of what we ought to be doing as a board in terms of, and community in terms of buildings and infrastructure.
First, I want to say I agree with Ron that we're going to need to do, I think what Shirley calls kind of master planning for this district to see what our needs are going to be in the future. But so far Ron and I agree, but the board hasn't agreed on that. And in the meantime, I don't see that precluding working with the community around Cleveland to see if there's a future for that building in the school district.
Yeah.
Second.
Roll call. Dr. Hirschfeld?
No.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Dr. Fowler?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson?
No.
Ms. Jones? Yes. Mr. Purdy?
Yes.
President O'Brien? Passes.
It passed. It passed. 4-3.
Oh, okay, pass.
It passed.